At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business trainer, author of Food Truck 101, Beginner to Winner, and the forthcoming book, Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. All this week, I've been talking about speed of service and different components of speed of service. Now we're going to get a little technical, and this one might be a little bit hard to follow, but kind of bear with me. We're going to talk about cooking capacity. That's one element of your food truck that a lot of food truck owners don't exploit to its potential. Cooking capacity is take a piece of equipment and how much food can that piece of equipment produce over the course of, let's just say, 1 hour. Whether it be a griddle or a deep fryer or any other piece of equipment, they all have a cooking capacity. Now, if you think about how you staff your food truck, whether you staff it with 2 people or 3 or 5, it doesn't matter. You have a cooking capacity that the equipment can only go so fast. French fryers, for example, usually will say we can do 40 pounds of French fries in an hour or 50 pounds of French fries in an hour. And then you would translate that 50 pounds of cooked product into how many servable portions you're going to give out. So if you have a fryer that's going to produce 40 pounds of fries and you're giving out a little over 6 ounces per order of fries, then that's going to tell you how many orders of French fries you can put out in a given hour. It is the same thing with a grill capacity. So let's talk about my favorite product, and we all know that's a hamburger. I love selling hamburgers because it's a nice, easy product. It's a comfort food. People know what it should look like, what it should taste like, and I like selling them. Have always sold a hamburger in some way, shape, or form. So let's take a grill. Let's take a 4-foot standardized grill, and you're going to be using a meat patty. Let's say that it's a 1/4 pound meat patty, and you're going to space the meat equidistant on the griddle. And let's say that when you do that spacing, it's going to let you serve or cook 25 at a time. Okay. Let's say the cook time is 5 minutes. Now it's going to take you some time to lay the meat fresh. And then it's got 5 minutes to cook it. And then when it's done cooking, it's going to take you time to scoop all that meat off and then start the next run. So let's say that it takes you 30 seconds to load it, to get all 25 down. And let's say on the other side of that 5-minute cook time, it's going to take you 30 seconds to scoop it up. So that's a grand total of 6 minutes. So you take that 1 hour and divide that by 6. That means you could do 10 runs of hamburger patties. And if you're putting 25 of them at a time on a grill, that means you could do 250 patties an hour. Now, if those are single patty hamburgers, what you're looking at now is, can I sell 250 burgers an hour? If your average check for a burger all by itself is $10, that's $2,500 in sales for an hour. The question is, can you do it? Now think about it. If you're busy enough to where you put down 25 burger patties and they all come up in 5 minutes later after it's been scooped off the grill, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So you have 25 patties to turn into sandwiches. How long is it going to take you to turn them into sandwiches? Now, if you listened yesterday, I told you about Burger King and how they do their standard Whopper takes about 13 seconds to assemble. So if you have 25 hamburger patties and you're able to produce 1 hamburger every 15 seconds, let's say, and you have a total of 25 patties ready to go. So 25 patties times 15 seconds is 375 seconds. Divide that by 60 seconds means you can completely wrap those sandwiches and get them served out in 6 minutes and about 15 seconds. Ooh, that's pretty darn good. So think about it. If it takes you 6 minutes to load the grill, cook the patties, unload the grill, and then it takes you just over 6 minutes to turn them into sandwiches, that means you could literally cook and produce 250 sandwiches an hour. So where's the bottleneck come in? Is it going to be your order taker? Probably. Because if you recall, I tell everyone your very first goal when you're training your cashiers is to take 1 order every 60 seconds. So that means your limiter now becomes that cashier, because a grill can produce 250 sandwiches. A sandwich maker, I just showed you, could produce almost 250 sandwiches an hour. Can the cashier take 250 orders worth an hour? So the answer is no, they can't. They can take 60 orders an hour. So if they're doing 60, that means your cooking capacity isn't ever being challenged. The same with French fries. If your fryer will produce 40 pounds of cooked fries an hour, and you divide that 40 pounds, you take the 40 pounds rather, multiply it by 16 ounces, and then you divide that by the number of ounces in your serving, and let's say you're doing 6, that means you could produce off of one fryer 106 orders of fries. Okay, so now, again, the slow point's the cashier. They can only take 60 orders. Typical order is probably going to have one sandwich, one fry. So the cooking capacity now is not the slow point. Slow point is the cashier. Do you see what I'm getting at here? The equipment on your food truck is not being utilized to its capacity. So when you find yourself falling behind, it's an organizational issue. When you're taking 15 minutes to get orders out, when you have a product that has a cook time of, say, 3 minutes, like a Philly cheesesteak, for instance. So if you're telling people it's going to be 10 minutes, it's going to be 15 minutes, it's not the cooking capacity is not your issue. It's an organizational issue. And that's what you got to do as the owner of your food truck. Look for those bottlenecks and fix them. So let's say that you actually have the food whirling out. You can keep up with those 250 sandwiches. You really can make an hour. You can keep up with those 106 orders of fries. You really can make an hour. But you want to get more sales through to at least match the cooking capacity of the fryer. Get yourself up to that 106 orders an hour. Because see, it's pointless to be able to put more orders through if you can't cook, but we have room to cook. So how do we get more people coming through? You got a couple of options. You can encourage people to order online, put a little A-frame sign out there with a QR code that says, hey, skip the line, and you place the order. And let them order that way, which helps your cashier, takes a little bit of burden off them, and effectively gives you a second line without you having hired a person to man that second line. Because you will have a number of people that will take advantage of being able to order their food on the internet. And then all they got to do is be alerted that when the food's done, come pick it up, everything's good. It involves one less person, that cashier. So ideally, you could get yourself up to that 106 capacity of your French fryer between people physically in your line and people ordering online. And if you're able to get to that point, think about it. If you're selling $10 hamburgers and they all get a fry with them, so let's say now you're at $12 or $13, at 106 times 13, because that's the number of orders of fries you can do an hour. They all bought a burger with it. That's $1,378 before you sell any food, or sell any drinks rather, and then sell any desserts. Just a show of hands, even though I know I can't see your hands, and if you're driving, don't do this, but think about it. Would you raise your hand if you could do $1,378 an hour for 3 hours in a row? Have yourself over a $4,000 day for 3 hours? You see, the problem with the speed of service, it's never the cooking capacity. It's always the human aspect. We're taking orders too slow, or on the flip side, we're taking orders and we've already exceeded our cooking capacity. Somebody that is dependent upon French fryers is going to run into that frequently, especially when they have very long cook times. So then you have to look at how can I do one or two things when you have a product that has a very long cook time. And I'm talking like bone-in chicken. My wife and I have worked at different bone-in chicken places. My wife had one of the highest volume Hardee's back when they sold chicken in the United States. They sold a ridiculous ton of chicken. They were busier than most KFCs on chicken. My wife also ran KFCs, so she knows all about bone-in chicken. I have worked at Dodge's, which is a convenience store, but they specialize in chicken, kind of like Buc-ee's, if you guys are familiar with Buc-ee's. Dodge's specialized in chicken, and we had 4 pressurized fryers to cook all of our chicken in. So we know chicken. So when we're talking about chicken, there are things you can do to help yourself out. Number one thing to help yourself out on chicken is it has a ridiculously long hold time. And I know now you're freaking out going, no, we're cooked to order. We love cooked to order. It's fresh. It's good. It's delicious. I can promise you that if you experiment with your holding times and have a proper holding cabinet, and you don't have to spend thousands of dollars, chicken is either going to take a very dry heat depending upon the exterior and the breading and the battering, or it's going to take a semi-moist heat. So you'll be using something like a steam table or a proofing cabinet to hold it. But in either case, it's going to hold a long time. And then it's just a matter of you learning how to cook. Ideally, whatever your cook time is, the product should hold twice as long. So that way you could effectively get, or 2 batches cooked rather, in the time that you're selling out the one. And if that's the case, then if you're organized, you can infinitely keep the food up. That's what Chick-fil-A does. Chick-fil-A has a very good product that's held. And for the most part, you can't tell that it's held. You bite into it, it's pretty darn hot. And Chick-fil-A does $5 million a year in annual sales. And they're closed every Sunday. Chicken can be held. Burgers can be held. It's just a matter of you doing it right, finding a procedure that works for your particular product, and then adhering to that procedure. When people whine about fast food, and I've said this many times, they whine about, I'm not McDonald's, I'm not Burger King, fast food sucks. The food that Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Hardee's, any of those folks sell is the exact same quality, and in some cases better quality than we can buy in the grocery store, because it's mixed to their recipe and it's going to have the things in it that make people want to buy it all the time because of the flavors. Where the problem comes with fast food is the human beings that work in the restaurants. They aren't trained how to do the procedures properly, and they put a higher emphasis on, let's not have any waste, let's not have any food cost issues, and we pay you bonuses on those things. And when you bonus people in that manner, they will cheat the system. An expiration timer goes off. Oh my goodness, I can't throw away those 5 patties or those 10 patties. Let's just reset that timer. It won't be a big deal. And that's where the quality starts to diminish. You can hold food. You can cook food. You can partially cook food and then flash fry it or throw it in the oven to bring it up to its temperature. There's procedures to do all that, and it doesn't diminish the quality. So learn those procedures. Understand that the issue with speed of service, and that's why I was explaining to you guys the cooking capacity, it's not the equipment. It's the people that are operating the equipment. You can put more food through your food truck if you're better organized, if you think about the procedures better. If you guys need help, go to the Facebook group. Ask the questions. Message me. If you need a bunch of help, just get on my coaching program. Everything can be held. Your speed of service can get better. I can put more money into your pocket if you just pay attention and learn things. Because I can promise you, the busiest trucks that I'm aware of do about $2 million a year. But most of the trucks don't start at $2 million. They don't even hit 100,000. So if you need help, ask for it. We're here to help. That's why I do these podcasts. That's why I do the videos. That's why I do the Facebook group. I want to help you guys be successful. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We've got a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck business. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because I got a whole bunch more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.